missing someone without you.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to be making some Japanese milk bread. The recipe is very simple. You guys seriously need to try it out. It's so fluffy, it's not dense at all, and it's very delicious. I got the recipe from this YouTube channel. The video will be linked in my description. Okay, so let's get started. The ingredients: you're going to need 1 cup of milk, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 2 teaspoons of yeast, 3 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 large egg, and 1/3 cup of melted butter. You can use any kind of yeast, but active dry yeast will work amazingly. Okay, so we're gonna start by, in a small bowl, you're gonna add the milk, sugar, and dry yeast. Again, you can use any kind of yeast that you want, but I find that the active dry yeast is the safest or easiest option. And you're gonna make sure that it's mixed up super duper well, and you're gonna set that aside, let it rise for like 10 or 15 minutes. In a separate bowl, you're gonna put your flour. You're gonna put your 3 cups of flour. You're also going to put your 1/4 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and you're gonna mix it up super well, making sure that it's very well incorporated. You want it to be very mixed in very well. And then you're gonna crack in your egg, and you're gonna add in the 1/3 cup of melted butter. And you're gonna also add to that the yeast mixture. As you can see, it rose, and meaning that it rose, it's working. If it didn't rise, you better check the expiration date on your little yeast pack. You're gonna mix this up super well with a spatula or a wooden spoon. It's gonna give you a very wet, thick dough. And make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to get notified every time I post a new video. Going back to the video, you're gonna get a very wet dough, and you're gonna slowly incorporate to that the other 3/4 cup of flour that's left, from, like, we added 3 cups of flour already. Now you're gonna want to add the other 3/4 cup in increments, in 1/4 cup increments. As you can see here, I decided to go in and use my hand because it wasn't that sticky anymore. You want to mix it very well. Make sure that it doesn't stick to your hand or it doesn't stick to the surface that you're working on. And here's a pro tip: work with one hand with the dough and another hand keep it clean, because I did the mistake of working with both hands once and it did not escalate very well. As you can see, after we're done mixing the dough, making sure that it's not sticky at all, you're gonna flip it onto a floured work surface. Make sure your hands are clean and the work surface is clean, and you're gonna knead it for 5 to 10 minutes or until it's super smooth and elastic and the dough springs back when you push it down. As you can see here, I didn't need any extra flour. The table, or like the countertop I was kneading on, wasn't sticking to it at all. And this is proof of how good the dough actually is, and proof of how much you need to try this recipe out. Seriously guys, you need to try that out. Anyway, you're gonna form it into a little ball. You're gonna flour. Wow. You're gonna oil the bowl that you were using to begin with. I'm using a brush. You can use your hand, whatever your little heart desires. And remove the little extra pieces of dough in there. Put the little dough ball into the bowl. Cover it with a damp, warm towel or saran wrap or plastic wrap for 2 hours, or until it's doubled or tripled in size. You can leave it overnight, but I found that 2 to 3 hours was amazing, and it made the dough rise super well. Here's a little time lapse of the dough rising, and it was kind of satisfying to me for some reason. Fast forward like 4 hours later, you're gonna want to grab your very risen dough and punch it down to release all of the gases. Make sure that your hand is super clean and the countertop is clean. Once again, you're gonna flip the dough onto the surface, and because we floured the bowl, it didn't need any help to get out of the bowl. You're gonna knead it again for like 2 to 3 minutes, just making sure that it's very well incorporated and springy again, and to get the gluten back active in the dough. And then you're gonna grab a knife and you're going to split it in half. You can eyeball this, but I actually put each little ball on a gram scale to make sure that they're the exact same size. And then you're gonna grab each ball and separate it, and stretch it out actually into a rectangle, and grab your loaf pan and make sure that it fits 3 of your loaf pans horizontally, and then grab your pizza cutter and cut out these little logs or these little strips, and then you're gonna roll them up. The fact that this was so out of frame is so annoying to me right now. Anyway, you're gonna roll it up, make sure that you're in frame, and then you're going to pinch the ends together to make sure that it's sealed shut, and you're gonna do this to the rest of your rolls, making sure that the ends are tucked in and that you sealed it shut so that it doesn't open when it's in the oven. And then you're going to add it onto your baking pan. Make sure that it's lined with baking paper, and this looks delicious, honestly. And that little thing over there is egg wash. You're gonna want to brush it with egg wash. It's 1 egg and 1 tablespoon of milk. You're gonna want to cover it with a layer of egg wash and let it proof for 30 to 35 minutes or until it's doubled in size. That's the second proofing before baking. Then you're gonna bake it at 180 degrees for 18 to 20 minutes depending on the heat of your oven. And oh my god, you guys, this is so good. You need to try it out. It's so fluffy and delicious. You can make this into a French toast. You can make it into a sandwich. You can just eat it plain. I did that and it was incredible. And you can just lightly, toss it with a little bit of granulated sugar and use a blowtorch to have it, caramelized, but you don't need to do that. It's amazing as is. As you can see, it is so fluffy and so moist. It's not dense at all. And you seriously need to try it out. It's so delicious. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel, like the video, comment what recipes you want me to make next, turn on the notification bell to get notified every time I post a new video, and why don't you follow me on Instagram and Facebook as well at Kitchenetic Official. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Bye bye.
Since I'm on